Welcome back, everyone, to season 2 of Grown Ups, the podcast.
Hello. How is everybody? It feels weird. Like I remember doing this in the dark, and now
Yeah,
it's so bright outside. I always feel like we should be recording outside.
I know. We should do like a little garden recording sesh.
Cheeky garden episode.
Me
Come on
without a
then.
garden. Me saying that without a garden.
That's so funny. Balcony episode.
Balcony.
How have you been? I feel like we talk every day, but we haven't actually had a proper catch up since our last episode, since before I went away.
Yeah. Okay, wait. First of all, how was Bali? How was your birthday in Bali?
Guys, it was the best holiday I've ever been on in my entire life. Like, I
Damn.
did not want to come home. It was amazing. The people are so nice. The food was great. The beaches, like, I've never seen anything like it. Stunning.
Oh, no, I literally, the pictures you sent me, I was like, yeah, that is going on my list.
Girl, literally every day I send Billy pictures. I'm like, should we go back? Should we go back? Do you want to go back next year? It was just honestly, I highly recommend. Yeah, best trip of my life. I've literally, since I've got back, all I've been thinking about is whether I should move country and live by the beach. I can't stop thinking about it.
Oh my God, you're a
I'm
changed
being deadly
woman.
serious. I looked up the pricing to move to Australia. It's 15 grand, by the way, if anyone's interested.
Wait, how did they even figure that out based on like rent and stuff?
No, it's like your legal fees and the visa and your sponsor and stuff like that.
Damn,
Yeah, that will not
crazy.
be happening anytime soon. But it's definitely, do you know what? It's on my bucket list now to live in another country for at least a year, probably
Wow,
longer
really?
after all that effort.
Guys, you don't understand how revolutionary this is because Ellie is the type that won't leave. Like, she didn't even want to go to Leicester because it's too far from her family, and
So
her family
Leicester
are in
does not
London.
have a beach.
No, Leicester does not have a beach, you're right. But I thought, okay, a year. Yeah, you can do a year.
Yeah, or longer. Like honestly, I think when I'm with Billy, like I'm such a loser, but it's kind of like family. You get what I'm
Oh,
saying? So it feels normal. Like, anyways, moving on swiftly.
oh.
How have you been? How's life?
Life is good. I've literally, I mean, obviously did a bit of traveling here and there.
Of
Um,
course.
but I'm really trying this summer to stay in London and actually just enjoy the UK. I've got no flights booked.
Say what?
Yeah. And literally every time I meet people, like my friends, every time I meet up with people, they're like, so where are you going to next? I'm like, nowhere.
I'm
I've got anywhere
dying. It's a
booked.
personality trait.
It's a personality trait. But yeah, the summer is summering at the moment, so nothing to complain about, too tough.
I'm in such a good mood. I wake up every morning, I'm like, look at this beautiful sky.
I wake up sweating, but I'm happy.
There is that. There is. Yeah, but
Yes.
honestly, nothing but good vibes from us. Actually, our podcast is about work. We have to complain this by force. But other than that, nothing but good vibes this season. We're
Yes.
excited.
Woo. Let's get into it. Let's get into season 2.
Okay. Well, on the topic of traveling, moving, someone actually sent in a dilemma that was related. So we felt like it would be a nice, light-hearted first episode back, right?
Let's do it.
Do you want to read it out?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Maggie and Ellie. I'm in full-time employment. I too am a corporate babe and have been for the last 5 years from the age of 21 to 26. I enjoy my job as much as the next person. I like what I do, but let's be honest, if I won the lottery, I probably would hand in my resignation. Yeah, facts.
You and me both, sis.
I'm very grateful for my job, and if you told 20-year-old me how far I've come and how much I've achieved, I can tell you now she wouldn't believe it. Love that. So cute.
Yeah, honestly.
Despite this, as I get closer and closer to my 30s, I can't help but think, what if? What if I'd taken a gap year? What if I just upped and quit and traveled the world? Like I said, I enjoy my job, but surely there's more to life than working 9 to 5, 5 days a week. Preach, sister.
Ouch.
Is this something I should do now whilst I'm still quote unquote young and have limited responsibilities? Is traveling and experiencing new cultures and something I can do while working with my annual leave? And if I am as savvy with my bank holidays, oh, I can't know. I read that so
Keep
wrong.
going, love.
Basically taking holiday with bank holiday, so she's more savvy with it. Yeah, got it. Or is this something I'll do when I retire? I can't decide whether 50-year-old me will be grateful that I worked hard and secured financial freedom, or if she'll be more grateful for the memories that I made, the places that I saw, and the people that I met. I guess what I'm asking is this period of my life, my 20s slash early 30s, most important for building the foundations for my future? Or is it the time to be carefree whilst I still can? Or can I have my cake and eat it?
All right. That was a lot to digest.
Yes.
Um, my immediate thoughts are it's your time to grind. And that will be my thoughts forever and ever. Amen. I feel like you can definitely I don't know, like I just feel like if you're not I've said this before, if you're not building your foundation now, when are you gonna build it? I feel like
Yeah,
are you the opposite?
I'm the complete opposite because
Mm.
I just think you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know whether travel will be suspended again or whether you'll get ill, God forbid, obviously, God forbid, but or whether you'll have kids and stuff and then the circumstances mean you can't do that, or whether you just things will you just don't know what can happen that you know, I feel like you have your whole life to work, but you don't really have your whole life to travel if you are someone who wants to get married and have kids, because now you have to factor in other people's decisions. You have to factor in what your partner wants and what you is best for your kids. If you're right now just solo you, I think it's the best time. I think it's the best time.
I think it's tough. Like, so I saw this dilemma on Insta and I spoke to someone at work about it, just like out of the blue, having a chit chat. And she's like super educational. She's always reading educational books. I'm there with my, is it fiction? My fake
Hmm.
shit. Um, and she was like, there's this book called Defining Decade or something like that, something about your 20s.
Hmm.
And she read it and she basically said it's like about your brain and how it develops when you're 20. And actually, if you don't learn stuff in your 20s and use your brain and progress up the career ladder, it's way harder. This is really depressing, I'm sorry, but it's way harder when you get into your 30s because who you are and like the amount you can change and the amount you can change your brain and your thoughts and the way you act and behave is
Hmm.
you have to do it in your 20s or like your early 30s.
Yes.
I got something. So there was a TED talk and the woman said the brain caps off its second and last growth spurt in your 20s as it rewires itself for adulthood, which means that whatever it is you want to change about yourself, now is the time to change it. Which could also mean fuck capitalism and go traveling, I guess.
Do you know what? It depends on what you want out of this life. Because I would say from me traveling, and I know I'm in a very privileged position that I can work from home, but from me traveling, it's taught me so much interpersonal skills. And even when I meet new people now, people are a bit shocked that I'm 24 because I seem a lot older. And I think that's a skill that you get from being alone and having to meet new people and stuff. I do think that in saying all of this, if I was to quit my job tomorrow and start traveling, I'm not going off the grid. I'm still, you have to keep, if you're going to do that personally and you want to come back to a sick career and do bits, you have to keep updated with what's going on in your industry, whether that's constantly checking LinkedIn and what your network are publishing
Mm.
and reporting on and stuff like that, reading these reports, keeping updated on the news of what's going on in that. I don't think you should cut it off completely if your career is something that you want to do big man things with, but I do think that life is for living. And
Mm.
if you feel like you're not living your best life whilst working, you just can't find the balance, that the holidays aren't enough, then you don't want to live with regret. Regret is the worst,
Yeah.
I imagine.
Okay, fine. I That was a very lovely point. I do agree. Like it can, I think if you're gonna travel without a job, like just being jobless, then you really need to focus on like why are you doing this? How are you developing as a person? What are you achieving? And keep your brain active. And
Hmm.
don't just sit there reading books on the beach unless they're educational books, you know. Um, But I think you can have your cake and eat it in the sense that if you do what you did and you do the remote working and you travel at the same time, then boom. Like you're
Yeah.
still developing your career and seeing the world and experiencing all of these different things. I think if the option for her was to quit her job and just go traveling on a whim, then I don't know. That seems a bit scary for me. Especially if you've already climbed up the career ladder.
Yeah, and you know what? I really sympathize with this dilemma because I think it's something that we're all in our 20s debating. Like, do I live my best life? Even if you're not
Mm.
traveling, but like on the weekends, like I want to experience this, I want to go to this restaurant, I want to do this, blah, blah. But then on the other hand, I need to save money for a deposit if I ever want to get a mortgage and all of this. And I think it's a daily struggle for people our age and trying to decide what is the best thing to do. So you just need to see what your priorities are. Good luck. Okay, well, on that note, because of that dilemma, we decided to ask everyone else what they thought. So we did put up a poll asking this exact question. So we asked, what are your 20s for? So what did people say, Ellie?
I'm not gonna lie, a load of people said traveling. If that helps with
Really?
your decision at all. Someone said traveling, flings, making friends for life.
Flings.
Yeah, flings.
That's hilarious. No, but yeah, I guess it can be if you're someone who wants to be married for the rest of your life, maybe now's the time to have a little bit of fun.
It's true because some people, this will not be me, please Lord, but some people, when they stay with one life partner for their whole life, they almost regret, like, am I missing out? Or did I
Yeah,
miss out? Because when you're,
yeah,
no offense, but like when you're 50 or 60, the dating pool is a lot slimmer, isn't it? Like it's not even the way you look, but the dating pool is slimmer.
yeah.
So it's going to be hard to, you won't be able to have that experience that you would be able to have now if that was your vibe.
Yeah, it's not as easy to just go out and like meet people, blah blah. I'm imagining. Well, no, actually, I know this is true because I was speaking to someone at work and she's been divorced for like a couple of years and she's ready to get back out there and she's just like she's got dating apps and she's like the people I meet on dating apps are like okay, like I meet up with them, but some people are really boring. Like it's harder to meet people organically in like a club or something because most people are
Mm,
married at that age.
yeah.
So she was saying it's a struggle, and I was like, girl, good luck.
I wonder whether I would be like, whether that is a fear to be alone when I'm old. Then again, you could
I
live your wild life and go traveling when you're old with your retirement money if you've done well.
I met someone when I went to Tanzania who she is in her 50s and she's traveling abroad alone. Like, sorry, she's traveling alone for a year. And that's just what's and when I say she outlasts me on the dance floor, like
Shut up.
she stays out till late. And now got her on Instagram and she's in Greece. And she said that her Fitbit tracked how many steps she did in clubbing while she was clubbing. And
Shut. No.
it was so many steps. She doesn't drink or anything, like she literally just has fun. So I feel like you can definitely do things when you're older, but you just don't know what's going to happen in the future. It's nothing's
Mm.
guaranteed. You know what's happening now.
Yeah, it's so true. I think COVID shows that for us. Like when, like
Yeah,
you said earlier, no travel. That is wild.
crazy. What scam that was. Anyways, someone said your 20s are for finding your life partner. Oh,
So the opposite.
the opposite.
Do you know
Yeah.
what, mate? It's so unique to you.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't know if you're doing the right thing. Like, I don't know.
You
Just
really,
take each day as it comes.
yeah, just go with the flow. I don't know that, but what do you think? Because you found your life partner.
Yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like, I am ready to purchase real estate, to start my empire. Like, I'm just ready. I'm ready to do all of the things that will set me up for the rest of my life.
Hmm.
Like, maybe I'm being a bit greedy and a bit like, what's the word, impatient, but I just want everything now. Um, so I'm happy that life happened for me this way. I definitely wouldn't want to be like not already building my career and stuff like that, just because of I just think because I have so many sisters, I've seen some who started early, some who started later, and I
Mm,
realized via that what path I wanted to follow. Whereas for
right.
other people, being settled down and looking to buy a house at the age of 24 would be like, oh my God, I'd rather die. Like for some people, that would be the most scariest thing ever.
Yeah, I'm some people that the idea of being like finding someone right now and then settling down with them, that's so scary. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've lost myself. But obviously it
Yeah,
wouldn't
I hear
it,
you.
if it's actually your life partner, you wouldn't be losing yourself, you'd be finding another part of yourself. But like
Yeah.
I think the problem with the finding your life partner in your 20s is that a lot of people, like what we've just shown, me and you are the same age and want completely different things, and a
Mhm.
lot of people are going out dating people like this, and a lot of people just aren't ready, and then
Yeah.
there's the other half that are super ready, so there's a bit of a mismatch, and you just don't know like who you're going to encounter, but communication and that
Communication is key.
is.
We also got discovering, changing your mind, and traveling, another one. And then we've got learning more about yourself, what excites you, what you want to change, what are your long-term goals.
You know what, I think just the first one you said, changing your
Mhm.
mind. I think that's a really good point because I know I've changed my mind on a lot of things that I used to think was so core to me, and I've
Oh,
changed
so
my
have
mind.
I.
Yeah, and it's okay. And there's no need to like explain yourself about it. You've just grown and had different experiences, and therefore you think differently. And I think that's amazing.
I love that. I actually didn't even pick that up when I read that, but it's so true. This is a bit random, but I still remember because my mom raised me like at home.
Hmm.
And then my elder sister put her first kid into nursery at the age of 1. And I was like, oh my God, you're not gonna raise him. Like you're gonna put him in nursery. And now I'm like, that's so good for a kid's development. If I had children, I would 100% like you become a totally different person. Like your outlook on life is just, yeah, I agree. Keep changing your mind, keep becoming different.
Exactly. And you should change your mind because things change. You should, I think it's great to shift because you've learned something new or if you experienced something new, you're changing your mind. I think that's such a good thing.
Mhm. I also think with that girl that wants to go like travel, even if you did a 3 month like sabbatical,
Yeah.
and then you tested the waters and you can change your mind and be like, traveling's not for me, I miss home. Or you can be like, I'm elated, like I'm a new person. I'm gonna quit my job and do this.
Exactly. Do you know what? This is my friend did this actually. She quit her job and she went
Mhm.
traveling for like a month, and she came back a completely, I think it was like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, something like that. But she came back a completely different person, whole new outlook. And so it's not like you have to quit your job for like a whole year. You can do a 3 week thing or just something solo just to test it out. It might do you way
Yeah.
more than you expect it to.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed, agreed. What else have we got?
Be selfish. Focus on you, on your personality, your education, your relationships, and your career.
Agreed.
I
Whilst you have
completely
no
agree.
one to take care of, it's all about you.
Yes, I think putting yourself first is so important and putting boundary. This is something that I've actually learned literally in the past, in this year, just so very recently, but putting boundaries in place with my friends in the sense of who who I am to them as a friend, as opposed to being the absolute everything and feeling this pressure of having to do the most for friends and stuff. Actually, putting
Mhm.
in boundaries where there's a part here where I can't help you because I'm not a professional in this area or whatever. I'm your friend, and putting a boundary in so we can remain friends is really important. So I think being selfish is super important for your own peace of mind.
Completely agree. This reminded me of something that happened to me recently. And basically, someone at work asked me to do like just a basic task, but it required a software that I'd never heard of before. And
Mhm.
I was like, oh, who do I speak to about this? And then she replied, like, can you find out how to use the software, please?
She said, not
And I
me,
was
bitch.
like, old me would have been like running around trying to find someone who to ask. But instead, I was like, I'm not quite sure what I'm looking for. Could you please tell me who to ask? Like, I just went back again. And she was like, yeah, I'll find out for you. And I was like, do you know what? Sometimes say, it's not me, not today. Like, no.
Yeah, yes, I agree.
One last one. Take risks in everything you do while you're still able, damn, be that jumping out of a plane or jumping into a new career.
That that one's so hard because how long did it take us to start this podcast? Like we were talking about it for like a whole year before we actually release something, and it is really hard to jump. It's really hard.
I agree.
But you should do it. This is the moment. If not now, when? Because I think as you get older, you get somewhat less and less well, I don't know, it depends. If you're not doing these kind of things, then you will close off. If you keep doing these kind of things, then you'll open up. So I think it is important to put yourself in uncomfortable situations and just do it. Whatever you want to do, do it.
My advice is take calculated risks, please. Like,
This is a good point. This is a good point.
yeah,
Speak on it.
just don't take random risks, like upping and quitting your job with nowhere to go if you're not financially stable or you don't like living with parents and stuff. Just think about what you're doing. If you're able to do it, if you can still live by within your means and stuff like that, cool. Take these risks, jump job, travel, what else? Like do whatever you want. Buy a
Yeah.
house, buy an investment, but please be careful.
Please be careful.
We're not recommending recklessness out here.
We are not.
Okay. We then asked if you had to pick one option, is it grind and hustle or is it travel and enjoyment? What were the results?
So 31% of people said that grind and hustle would be their choice, and 69% of people said travel and enjoyment, which actually surprises me because I know I think like that, but I thought our generation were really for the grind and the hustle and the like, yeah, let's get money, let's get our paper up. So that's quite surprising.
I don't know. You know, I almost feel like if you ask this question in summer and winter, it would differ. Because in
Mm,
summer, everyone's on enjoyment, like everyone's trying to go out, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, but I do think our generation know how to have fun. Like everyone's trying to live. And I definitely think compared to we're like we said before, we work smarter, not harder. I don't think people are really trying to grind. They're trying to look like they're grinding to get places quicker. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm not surprised by that, but I'm definitely a grind kind of girl. But
you
also
are.
enjoy at the same time.
Yeah,
Send me
yeah.
some.
I feel like I do a good balance. I have a good balance.
I definitely think you have a good balance. Oh, some people actually sent in written answers. So someone
Oh,
said, which I kind of feel like is what we touched on, but someone said, I don't think your 20s have to necessarily be just for grinding or enjoyment. Yeah. I think the two can work in tandem. Your 20s are for enjoying, for building foundations. Who do you want to become? What do you want to achieve? What is on your bucket list? You can grind, but also enjoy it by seeing your friends of an evening on a weekend, planning girls' trips or trips with your other half. The important thing is to set boundaries while doing so. Rah. I feel like we covered this whole thing. Set boundaries while doing so. Make sure you are living within your means so that you are not enjoying now at the expense of your future self.
I think that last bit is really important that we haven't touched on is, are you living within your means? Because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, you can do enjoyment. Listen, there's loads of things that I want to do that I can't afford yet. But I'm not about to be out here booking business class on my flights to get to wherever. I know what my means are. I need to be in economy. And just even, and I need to stay in a hostel or not a five-star resort. I think knowing for sure your financial means is, and also your time. How much time do you actually have to allocate to these things? You don't want to spread yourself out thin and then just be exhausted.
Couldn't put it better myself.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Someone else also wrote in, I think your 20s are an important time to work on yourself, upskilling, and becoming more educated. But you can do this by seeing the world, experiencing other cultures, or by sticking your head in the book if people Why am I so bad at reading?
Keep going, girl. You got this.
And going to new place. Oh, okay. Or by reading, if going to new places aren't really your thing, do whatever drives you and makes you happy in the moment. I think that's really important. I think upskilling. I remember when I finished my master's, someone at work recommended that I do this training course, but it was, to be honest, it was for coding or something like that, and I was like, I can't learn anything. I don't want to. I don't want to. And
Yeah.
now that I'm over like doing exams and essays and stuff, I'm ready to start learning again. It's 100% valuable. Like even my manager took a course last summer for something when she's already a manager. Like what else does she need to do? I think it's really important to upskill yourself and be constantly learning something.
I agree, but also don't put pressure on yourself. Like, don't feel like you have to be taking exams left, right, and center. You can just do little things. Like
Yeah,
at work, try out different things. Ask people to teach you something they know that you haven't touched on. Don't feel like you have to go wild. But definitely continually work on yourself. Just be the best
yeah,
version of you that you can be.
I agree. I agree.
Okay,
Okay.
we have a new feature, right?
Yes, we do. Because we're so
What is
creative.
it?
We're like, well, we were thinking, this podcast is about in your 20s and just navigating through life, right? And a part of that is what is going on around the world. So, and what kind of conversations are you having with your friends? So, we thought if there's something that's interesting in the news that week, let's discuss it on the pod and we'll relate it to us and the whole theme of growing up and navigating your 20s. So this week, I wanted to bring up the submarine that went missing, the one that's gone to, so the submarine has gone to see the Titanic. It's an excursion, and it's gone missing. But it's brought up a big debate amongst people because the tickets to go were 250K per person, per head. And it got me thinking, when you're rich, not if, when.
Amen.
What is something that you think you would spend a ridiculous amount of money on that you obviously don't now?
Yeah, that story, by the way, was fucking awful. Like
Yeah,
when they said there was not, I don't think it was a child, but it was like a 19-year-old or something like that on board. Like that was just heartbreaking. I was like, that is so sad.
I think it is horrible. I know also I didn't know this until social media
Mm.
brought it to my attention, but apparently like a week before there was this massive boat with loads of refugees. There's like 500 refugees on it that sunk, and no one spoke about that. But as soon as billionaires go missing, now everyone's talking about it, and that's
That's
just gross.
awful.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Do you know what? We could spend a whole episode on news bias. Like, I actually do worry when I consume the news how that's affecting me as a
Hmm.
person
Hmm.
and my reactions to stuff. Like, I try not to get involved in politics and stuff like that because I almost feel like what information like, what's it called? I'm thinking of inhaling. What information am I like
Digesting,
consuming,
consuming.
digesting? And is it correct? Is it okay for me to speak on this topic and stuff like that? It's just a bit touch and go, you know?
Yeah.
But that is terrible. In terms of on a more light-hearted note, what I would do what I will do when I'm mad rich. I think I'd buy an island.
Oh, that is such a good idea. Why didn't I think
Yeah.
of that?
I mean, in my head, relative to my wealth, what I expect to have, I'd buy a holiday home. But if I'm a millionaire, I'll buy an island. Like, skate up, innit?
I wish I'd thought of that. That's such a good answer.
What was your one?
I think I'd just like hire out places, like just ridiculous things that I just can't do now. But like I'd hire out Disneyland for the day for me and my friends, kind of thing. Like I'd do
I think that's
things like
lit.
that. Yeah, that I think that's would be like what I would do.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, when you look at like influencers or celebrities, like their parties and the stuff they host, they look amazing. Like imagine hosting a party and not, well, actually they probably do worry, but like not worrying about organizing it or anything like that. Like it's literally just for enjoyment. It's just for you, friends, family, just to have a good time. Like
Oh my God,
And
no,
it's like,
because you know how much I love throwing a party. Imagine when I've got the means to actually throw the parties I really want to throw. It's gonna be lit.
it would be 110%. We're
Yeah.
speaking into existence. I can't wait to get invited to that party.
Yes.
Our last new feature is
Yeah.
a Glassdoor review, guys, because we love a cheeky review of a job. We're not going to tell you what places they are, even if you might want some insight, because I'm not trying to get cancelled.
No.
Um, but the one I found this week,
Wait, sorry.
so
Maybe not everyone knows what a Glassdoor review is. So people, when they leave jobs or when they're at a job or whatever, anyone can do this if you have an account and stuff. You can leave a review of the workplace. Like when you buy something online, you can leave a review of it, or how people review films and stuff like that. You can leave a review. So we were like, let's see what are people saying about the industries they work in. So yes, Ellie, which one did you find?
okay, so this one is split into pros and cons.
Yes.
Like I said, few pros, few and far between. Frankly, can't think of any. Ouch.
No.
Cons, cult-like leader and followers, senior management just riding out, vesting, major politics, hard to get anything done, nut jobs at the top with little to no experience leading, ranks filled with B players who think they are A players.
Dead.
That was a
Dead.
review. I would actually die if someone wrote that about, like, imagine your firm or like you're one of the leaders and they're like, sorry, you're a B player, stay in your lane.
That is actually the fact that people have the confidence to do this, so like about 6 months into my job, someone at my company left and she sent out an email to all of the staff cussing out the whole
Shut
company.
up.
Yes.
Can you
And
not get done for that? Like,
no, because she didn't say anything confidential. She didn't, she just, she kind, it was kind of like a goodbye email, which people tend to do, but it was really shady in the goodbye email. And I remember I was on annual leave when she actually sent it. So I'm catching up on emails and I see that and I was like, scandal, scandal.
mad. I would have loved to be. I love, no, actually, positive vibes, man. I'm not about gossip, but I do like to be in the office when like scandals happen. And you could just hear everyone having their own separate conversations. You're like,
Yeah,
anyways, we've
crazy.
not had anything scandalous, by the way. Just like, little office goss.
Yes. Okay. Well, that rounds off our first episode of our second season of Grown Ups the podcast.
Thanks for joining, everybody. As always, you know where to find us. We're here every Monday. And if you want to message us on Instagram at Grown Ups the Podcast, or
Email us at grownupspodcast@gmail.com.
see you next time.
Bye.